It's hard to navigate that space, but don't take it from Luke. Take it from Joe Biden, who said there's no federal solution to the COVID-19 pandemic. That means every bit of guidance, you really got to understand what Joe Biden said when he made this statement. There's no federal solution to COVID. That means everything Fauci said has been what? A lie? A waste of our time?
Yeah.
What do you mean there's no federal solution, Joe? No. Hold on. People need to understand. A lot of people are like, Joe Biden's giving up. A lot of people are saying he's coming to realize whatever it is. That statement is Joe Biden undermining the entire federal response. If there's no solution at the federal level, what have we been doing? The states have been taking guidance from you, from Fauci. You take a look at what Andrew Cuomo said when he killed all those people in the nursing home. He said, we were getting federal guidance. Is Joe Biden now coming out and saying everything they did was not in the effort to produce a solution to this? Then what are they doing, and why is Fauci still talking? Fire the guy, Joe Biden. If there's no federal solution, then what is Fauci doing? The airlines, okay, no more restrictions on airlines. You can have your New Year's parties because we can't do any of it. It's got to be the states. This is much bigger than I think people realize. What Joe Biden said.
This is enormous. I actually learned about this today. I'm like, whoa, because we're in the green room doing our thing, hanging out, and I'm like, this is huge. Yeah. Like this is literally 10th Amendment stuff, man. Like, since when do Democrats care about the 10th Amendment?
Let me read some of this. Okay,
when
so
Trump was in office, they did.
Biden held a phone conference with the nation's governors Monday as COVID cases began to rise. When speaking to Arkansas Governor Asa Hutchinson, Biden said there's no federal solution. Quote, one word of concern or encouragement for your team is that as you look towards federal solutions that will help alleviate the challenge, make sure that we do not let federal solutions stand in the way of state solutions. The production of 500 million rapid tests that will be distributed by the federal government is great, but obviously that dries up the supply chain for the solutions that we might offer as governor. There is no federal solution. This gets solved at the state level, Biden responded. So that was Asa. Biden responded, there is no federal solution. Okay, the president of the United States has said everything that they've done was not heading in the direction of a solution. It was not solution oriented. Then why are we doing it?
This guy
what is this?
Literally ran on the platform of ending COVID.
Yep.
That was literally his thing. I will end COVID. And instead we get more COVID. We get more people who've had the procedure getting COVID. It didn't stop the transmission. I think we have record case. New York City accounts. Didn't New York City, I think I read this, 25% of the positive COVID cases are New York City. One of the most vaccinated places in the country. I believe that's
correct. Is it 25%? Let's look it up.
I think it's 25. If I'm mistaken, then I'm going to blame it on someone else.
Okay, well, New York is breaking records. They're seeing nearly, I don't know about that 25% statistic, but New York City is breaking records with massive amounts of cases. So I'll put it this way. I want to make sure I can say something. Thank you, Joe Biden. You are correct.
Yeah.
The solution here has always been state level.
Yep.
The federal guidance is proving to be inadequate, and Joe Biden has correctly pointed it out, and it was the right thing to do, and I'm glad he did. Because now we can take a look at Florida. All right, Florida's doing fantastic. At the state level, they have rejected. Early this year, I pointed out that Joe Biden came out and said, we may need more lockdowns, X, Y, and Z, and all the things you want to do. And I was like, he's not talking to red states. He's talking to blue states, because the red states are not listening to him. And you know what? Florida has been way better off for it. You look at the Gulf states, and for some reason, they have these areas that are doing really, really well. I wonder why that is. Well, so long as they are able as states to handle their own issues, it seems to be working out. And the big blue states that are just following federal guidelines executed a bunch of old people in nursing homes because they were like, we're following federal guidelines. Well, that was under Trump, sure. But it was the governors who did it. If Joe Biden's going to come out right now and say there's no federal solution, okay, then Fauci can say whatever he wants, but it seems to be meaningless. It's going to have to be state level. It's going to have to be localized.
It took him long enough, and he sure did a lot of damage, and it seems like almost every action he committed, he made the situation that much worse. I just posted a meme of The Simpsons, and it's the classroom where it's all the students looking back at this one kid and it says, say the line, and then Biden is in the middle, and he's like, COVID is a state issue, and everyone's celebrating and cheering, and then this is the moment that we reached, that we finally have this crescendo of the state realizing its ineptness, its inability to take care of the situation, and at least it has the ability to see that. It took a very long time. There was a lot of damage done to the average American, but it should have always been a state issue because states, based on their populations, based on their circumstances, know what's right for their constituents a lot more than a centralized top-down federal force that, again, boggled this response from the very beginning and can't even get testing right.
Botched.
Yeah,
boggled.
Let's boggled.
Some states just really like being told what to do.
Let's
like New York loves that stuff.
Let's pull up PolitiFact. This is the Joe Biden promise fact checker. And one of his first promises, get COVID-19 under control. According to PolitiFact, the Biden promise tracker says this one is in the works. Joe Biden, quote, I'm never going to raise the white flag and surrender. We're going to beat this virus. We're going to get it under control. I promise you. Okay. PolitiFact, you need to go into your Biden promise tracker and where it says in the works, put surrendered or failed, whatever. If Joe Biden's promise was to get COVID under control, but his response now to governors is, hey, don't look at us. You guys got to solve this problem. You can call it a white flag. I think it's a fair point. No, Joe Biden said he wouldn't raise it, but he's certainly raising it right now.
You're absolutely correct. I mean, look, you can't go and say that we need to do things federally. We need to get everybody to do this, that, and the third. And then all of a sudden be like, nah, this has always been a state's issue. when all we've heard is like federal mandates.
He gets handed the data and he goes,
oh, we screwed up.
Really? No. He doesn't say that. He's sitting in his room and he's like, listen, we're working hard on this one at the federal level to get things done. Mr. Biden, President, here's your updated numbers. And we're going to fight hard to... It's a state's issue. After reviewing the data, I've always said it was a state's issue. Look, man, if he's now admitting the right thing, I'm glad he's doing it. But this is indicative of a bigger problem here in this country. That people voted for a corporeal form. That's what the Atlantic said. They didn't vote for a man who was going to lead. They voted for a man who was not Trump. That's it. They put him in his little wheelchair, put the blanket. Look, I got to bring it up. I got to say it. Joe Biden said, let's go, Brandon. Joe Biden himself said, let's go, Brandon. He is so out of it. He has no idea what's going on that people are literally chanting, let's go, Brandon. Did I say, let's go, Biden? Let's go, Brandon. Let's go, Brandon. And Joe Biden doesn't know. That's how clueless he is.
How do you not know? I literally have a Christmas ornament that says, let's go, Brandon.
Amazing.
It's pretty cool. My neighbor gave it to me.
Look, Joe Biden is so out of it and not paying attention. He did not know that at stadiums across the country, people were chanting, let's go, Brandon, that there's merchandise. You'd think someone would have briefed him on this. Like, hey, you need to know what this is. Instead, he gets a phone call and the guy's like, Merry Christmas and let's go, Brandon. He goes, yeah, I agree. Let's go, Brandon. It's like, wow.
Maybe he did know, but he forgot. Like, the guy is like 800 years old.
The emperor has no clothes, dude.
He's got dementia. He's got Alzheimer's. He's got every disease you could get above 80. Like, first of all, why do we have someone that damn old in office? Second of all, like, he's not aging well. Like, look, man, I'm not a Trump guy. I'm again, like you, I like him for some reasons. I voted for Trump. But, like, Trump is a really, really vibrant and healthy 70-plus-year-old,
he's
right?
Spry.
The dude got younger since he's been in office.
He's been losing weight.
He looks great. Biden is like Weekend at Bernie's. Like, he's the Walking Dead.
Well, I'll put it this way. Yes. Trump, during his presidency, he was an overweight man. Mm-hmm. He was not a bastion of health. He
loves his McDonald's.
But wasn't he was on a bunch of medications, whatever. He's an older guy too. But his mind was at least still Trump. Joe Biden is the true Nanana Shaba de Pressure president.
Yep.
We don't know what that was or why, or Batacalf care. I'm sorry. One thing that really gets me out of everything Biden does is that he may as well just be saying those words over and over again. How can we trust him when he comes out and says it's not a federal issue? What if he meant something else? In fact, I'll give you a really good example. It was at, I think, a UN meeting. He kept referring to Syria as Libya. Now, how do we know that? Honestly, we don't. Journalists just told us he meant Syria. Now, here's the problem. Joe Biden's speaking to a bunch of nations about conflict in the Middle East. Let's say he genuinely meant to talk about the conflict in Syria. What if there's someone who's there who doesn't speak English and hears Joe Biden talk and the translator says, Joe Biden wants military action in Libya? They're going to go, okay. How are they supposed to know that Joe Biden made a mistake and was talking about something else? Is their translator going to go, well, he said Libya, but he meant Syria. They're going to be like, he said Libya. What are you talking about? Joe Biden using the wrong name of a country. Could you imagine? They're like, we need to get a military strike today. On where? Libya. Okay. And they fire missiles. And then he goes like, oh, I meant Syria. Worse still, what if Joe Biden did not mean Syria? What if he actually meant Libya? Because his brain is trapped in 2010 because he's old and demented. And so he's standing up to the UN. Oh, the problems in Libya, man. Yeah, there were problems in Libya with Gaddafi. And maybe Joe Biden can't remember what's going on. And so he's actually thinking about a problem that's not currently happening. I mean, Libya's got its problems. The fact is, I don't even know that Joe Biden meant to say the word federal. And if these things keep happening, how can we trust a word out of his damn mouth? He could come out and be like, we gotta fight COVID. And he actually meant to say fight for COVID. He's actually on the side of the virus. I have no idea.
With what the government has been doing, there's an argument to make there. And when he would have bombed Libya, the media would have been like, Joe Biden ends slavery in Africa. Bravely committing an act against the slave trade that was created there with the vacuum of power that was created by our first bombs. Now we've got more bombs there.
You know, it would have been funny if when Joe Biden was giving the speech and the media translates for him. And they were like, he meant to say Syria. Okay, sure, maybe he did. But if he accidentally says Libya, and that resulted in an accidental airstrike on, he accidentally says Libya, and it resulted in an accidental airstrike on Libya, then the media is going to be like, this is a good thing. It doesn't matter whether it was the right country or not. They're going to be like, Joe Biden made it very fierce. They would find a way to argue that Joe Biden was doing this on purpose. He wasn't, in fact, demented and firing missiles at the wrong country. They would say something like Joe Biden had been secretly planning for months now a strike on militia forces in Libya to end the slave trade.
So here's a question real quick. So Trump's out of office. Obviously, the media hated Trump. Why is the media still so protective of President Biden?
It's tribalism.
Okay.
Pure tribalism. I think people need to understand that there is an element of propaganda to it. There's some viral article going around about some leftist YouTuber actually being like funded by British intelligence or something. Yeah, sure. These things exist. Of course they do. There's information warfare. But for the most part, take a look at Brian Stelter on CNN. Count how many times he criticizes Rachel Maddow for being wrong.
I can't. He blocked me.
Oh.
Yeah, it's a shame. I made fun of his weight.
Oh, well.
He's really fat.
Look. He is, but I like to keep it to the ideas, right?
Yeah.
And if his idea of a good show is to be like Fox News is bad, but literally never complain, or I should say figuratively, never complain about MSNBC or Rachel Maddow, then he's not a real journalist. He's just this is the look. We can come on this show over and over again and be like, here are the things we don't like about Trump. Here are the things we like about Trump. Also, Joe Biden's crazy. And they act like that's a hyper-partisan show that's like grifting or whatever. And I'm like, dude, Brian Stelter, CNN, MSNBC, they literally lie to your faces. We aren't Fox News. We're not repeating Hannity's lines here. We have arguments about this stuff. But I don't think they can handle these kinds of conversations. It has to be completely tribal. CNN built up an anti-Trump audience. If they come out now, it's called audience capture, and they say, actually, Trump did well in these areas, their audience would revolt. If they come out now and criticize Rachel Maddow, their audience would revolt. So they don't do it. That's it. That's the demise of their network. So, it's too bad. It's too bad. I mean that sarcastically. It's too bad, but I wish we had better media.
I think these developments prove my earlier hypotheses that the president is a puppet, that there's multinational corporations and powerful people behind him, especially at the helms of power, that truly do pull the strings, that do set the policies. And I think they're using his presidency as a lame duck presidency in order to jam through some of the most unpopular, craziest, insane policies that violate people's human rights, that destroy their ability to have any financial mobility. They're using him as this kind of Trojan horse, this docile, old, sleeping man, and they're ramming through some of the top-notch globalist insanity that no one would ever want. But to me, he's the perfect cover and an excuse to do that. And I think because, again, he's clearly not there. Who else is there? I believe the special interest. Those special interests, I think, are there no matter who is president, and I think that a lot of them do call the shots with a lot of the unpopular policies that are passed.
They're going to update this PolitiFact fact checker on like Biden's promise tracker, and they're going to say promise accomplished. Like he got COVID under control, And that's why he's saying there's no federal solution, because he's already got it under control, and now he's just talking about other stuff as unrelated to getting under control because, he's done.
Well, this is going to be interesting because I think in a few weeks he's going to be claiming that he's the victor. He took down COVID because a lot of people now, when they're getting this new Omicron variant, a lot of people are building up immunity. A lot of people are getting this sickness. So there is a possibility here, according to some medical professionals, that this could be the end of COVID with how virulent this virus is and how less lethal it is compared to other variants. And for a lot of people, this is the best case scenario because this signals the end of all of this.
I have to disagree with you, man. I had a runny nose once, and that thing annoyed me.
Yo, have you ever seen this video where they simulate a runny nose with like UV ink or whatever? And so they have a party, everyone plays games, and they have a very light runny nose, and it's ink. And then at the end of the party, they put a black light on. This is crazy. I can't remember where I saw this. Many of you probably have seen the video. It's like you see him wipe his nose with a Kleenex, and they show the black light. You can see the ink coming out, and then at the end of the day, you can see the whole room is just covered in the ink because people would be touching everything. It's really crazy, man. Look, I got no problem saying if you're sick, don't come to my parties. Look, man, I'm sorry you can't come, but don't get people sick. Don't do that stuff.
When you're sick, stay home. Like my daughter had a wrestling meet. She had a little like stuffy nose. I'm like, you're gonna be like grappling with people.
Yeah, don't
take the day off. Take the day off.
Go watch some Netflix.
Yeah, just chill. I mean, that's the problem.
Netflix
I mean,
chill when
we were sick as a kid, we stayed home from school. We stayed home. That's the answer.
Thanks for checking out this segment from the Timcast IRL podcast. If you want to watch live, you can check out this channel Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. And don't forget to smash that like button, subscribe to this channel, and if you want more unfiltered and uncensored content with all of these guests, go to timcast.com and become a member. All of these guests you know and love in exclusive segments on our website where we are unrestricted in what we talk about, so you'll definitely not want to miss it. Thanks for hanging out. We'll see you all next time.